YouTube. It's us again.
It's us again.
It's us again.
You know who we are. I'm Anthony.
I'm Monica.
And we're the Cooks.
How hard is it for you to say, I'm sorry? That's what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm going to tell you, it was hard for me to say I'm sorry.
To me?
Yes.
I forgive you. But you shouldn't have did what you did, though.
It really was. Because when you think about saying I'm sorry, it goes through your pride. You have to be humble. It really takes a lot, especially determining on what type of person you are. I was a dominant? Is that the word? Huh?
No, baby, I don't know what you're talking about.
I was horrible, you guys. I was horrible. And I can tell you, when I asked God to teach me how to be the wife that He wanted me to be, He started out with me apologizing. I remember sitting up with God one time for an hour saying, why do I have to apologize? Now it's so easy. I'm not that I don't mean it, because I mean it when I say I'm sorry. But, you know, hey.
But if you say, so tell me this, if you say that you're sorry for something, and you say you're sorry for something, and then you do it again and you say you're sorry, and you do it again and you say you're sorry, and you do it again and you say you're sorry, what ends up happening?
You just saying I'm sorry out of mechanism.
Yeah, you're really not sorry.
You really don't mean it.
Really don't mean it.
Because if you were truly sorry, you would what?
Try to change your behavior.
Yes, try to change your behavior.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do it again.
And one of the things about getting to the point to where you're able to say I'm sorry, it's a humbling thing, but it also trains you as far as everything in life. Meaning, if you have kids, parents, have you ever apologized to your kids?
And I'm going to tell you, that was more humbling to me than apologizing to him. Because when you're a parent, you look at yourself as this big giant entity.
You're higher. You're higher. You don't have to apologize
Yes.
to your subordinates, to the siblings, to the ones that are beneath you.
Yes. And I'm telling you, I think that the fact that we were able to apologize to our kids when God was like, you're wrong, or our kids came to us and said, but that's not what God says about me.
Yeah.
We had to apologize.
And one of the reasons why we're talking about this today is this morning I had to apologize to my daughter Taylor. Yesterday I got mad at her. And when I got mad at her, this morning when I saw her, the first thing that I said when I saw her was, I'm sorry, because I was wrong. And she was like, it didn't catch her off guard because she's used to it. But I apologized to her. Now, I will tell you this. When I made her upset, when I got mad at her and I yelled at her, there was nobody else around except me and her. But I will tell you this. If you do something wrong to your spouse, if you do something wrong to your kids, if you do it in public, you have to apologize in public. And that was the lesson that I learned from my pastor. One Sunday at church, our pastor called his wife up to the front of the church, and he got on his knees, and he apologized to his wife for something that he said to her. And that spoke volumes to me, because he said, if you do something in public, you need to apologize in public. And so there have been times that I've had to call my kids into the room, and I've had to get down on my knees in front of my kids and apologize to my wife for something that I said or something that I did. And it's real easy to go off on your wife and say crazy things and disrespect her in front of her family, in front of her friends, in front of everybody in the mall, the grocery store, and then come home and go in the room and be like, I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't have said that, but you shouldn't have did that. That's easy.
Yeah.
But to call your kids in and tell your kids, you know what I said to your mom was wrong and I shouldn't have did that. What it does is it teaches your son that if he does something wrong, he's supposed to apologize to his wife.
Once again, you're raising humans.
You're raising humans. And it also teaches them that you're not unapproachable. You know, I remember my daughter, my oldest daughter, Tyler, did something wrong. And when she did something wrong, she was mad. And she was walking around the house just mad at me. And I said, come here. Are you mad at me? Yes, sir. Why are you mad at me? No, tell me why you're mad at me. Tell me why you're mad at me. Because I don't think that you should have did what you did. I said, okay, well, I'm going to tell you this. Number one, you have the right to be mad at me. That's okay. You can be mad. But you don't have the right to call me out of my name. You don't have the right, and she didn't, but you don't have the right to disrespect me. And if you do what you did again, you're going to get the same response out of me. But I wanted to teach her that it was okay to be upset.
Yes.
It was okay to be mad. It was okay to let somebody know that if they did something wrong to you, that you have the right to be able to go to them and say, I don't like what you did to me. It wasn't right, and I don't appreciate you doing it.
And see, what you're doing is you're teaching them that their feelings do matter, but there are consequences.
There are consequences.
There are consequences, but you don't ever want your little human to think that their feelings don't matter or that they don't have a voice. They do have a voice.
Because I'm sorry, go ahead. I just apologize. It's all right, I just apologize. That wasn't planned. We didn't even write that down. I'm sorry. But what you're doing is that you want your adults to grow up to be able to go into the workplace. And when they're in the workplace and somebody does something wrong to them, or somebody in their private life does something wrong with them,
or they do something
wrong, that they don't walk around and just harbor this hatred towards this person.
Yes.
And don't voice it and don't say anything. When people start keeping stuff bottled up and kids start keeping stuff bottled up, those are the people that go into post offices and be blah, 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 going crazy. You don't want them to grow up like that. So what you do is you take them and you teach them, okay, if somebody, and it starts with you, if somebody does something wrong to you, you have the right to be able to go to them and say, hey, at work, what you did the other day, I don't appreciate what you did, and I'd appreciate it if you didn't do it again. They're able to voice their opinion because they understand that their feelings do matter, and they do have a right to be able to say something. And so it's all a learning process. It's all a learning process. And if you want your kids to grow up to be the kind of people that are humble in their relationships and have healthy relationships
and take responsibility,
they'll take responsibility by seeing that it's okay to take responsibility, accept it, and
just because you do something wrong and have to apologize, it's not the end of the world. I'm going to tell you, our kids were raised so much with seeing us being humble. One time, Tyler got in trouble at school, and she talked bad about a teacher. We took her.
Time out. Stop. Because you're about to say something, and then you're going to have to apologize because you didn't tell the truth. Let me tell you exactly what happened.
My goodness.
She was at school. She disrespected the teacher in class. The teacher walked out of the classroom and she said, how many of y'all don't like the teacher? Ha, 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 ha. And everybody laughed about it. So everybody came to me and said, oh, your daughter's so crazy. She's so funny. Oh, she's so funny. Guess what your daughter did? And I was like, okay. So I came home and I told my wife, I said, this is what your daughter did at school. This is what your daughter said, and I'm about to go in here and deal with her. And my beautiful wife said, no, leave her alone. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. So I said, okay. The next day, I'm at work. I am the police officer at the school. She walks into my office. She walks up to my partner and says, he'll be back. You come with me, talking to me. I'm like, okay. So I walk with her. We go to the classroom. She walks into the classroom, and she'll give you the clean version, but I'm going to tell you the way that it really happened. She walked in the classroom. Excuse me, Miss Lady Teacher, excuse me.
He's lying.
Excuse me, Miss Lady Teacher.
You don't have to apologize. No.
Excuse me, Miss Lady Teacher.
No,
Young lady, you disrespected the teacher in public, you're going to apologize in public.
I did say that.
Get to the front of the classroom. No,
like,
she wasn't disrespectful. She said, get to the front of the classroom. And she said, begin. I'm sorry that I and I'm sorry that I and I'm sorry that I and she had Tyler apologize to the point to where she started making those little snot bubbles, and when she started making them, she made snot bubbles. She was, and when she finished with that, what did you say?
I don't know.
She said to the teacher, you won't have to deal with this anymore, because if you have to deal with this again, I'm going to come up here again, and it's not going to be this nice. Powerful lesson. Don't really suggest that you do it, but it was one that taught everybody involved, especially our daughter, that if you wrong someone in public, you apologize to them in public. And we talked to her about that. And she still talks about it as, man, that was one of those monumental moments in my life.
But you know what? When I asked her about it, she said, Mom, I didn't mind apologizing because I was wrong.
And now she's a strong, confident woman that don't take nothing off of nobody. And if you do something wrong to her, she will let you know. Yeah. She will. And it is so easy for her to accept responsibility for her actions and apologize when she know that she's wrong. So, what are we doing? We're creating adults.
Creating adults.
And if you want them to be the type of people that are willing to accept responsibility for their actions, willing to apologize when they're wrong, willing to be humble enough to be able to apologize when they're wrong, and not have pride well up in them so strong that they are willing to sacrifice everything because of pride. There are couples that are out there right now that are either divorced, going through divorce, thinking about divorce, and we hate
or living in the same house and unhappy.
All because they have so much pride that they're not willing to stop and take a look at their whole situation and say, man, you know what? I'm wrong. And I'm sorry, and please forgive me. You know, one thing about it is people have a hard time with asking for forgiveness. And realistically, when you say that you're sorry, what really are you doing?
Taking responsibility.
No, you're asking for forgiveness.
Yeah.
You know, when we go to the Father and when we go to Jesus and we say, Lord, forgive me for this sin, or Lord, I'm sorry for what I did. I'm sorry and asking for forgiveness are the same thing. You think?
I think.
And so I
concur.
I love the fact that I serve a God that's willing to forgive my sins. So if God is willing to forgive my sins, what right do I have to not forgive somebody when they do something to me, or apologize when I do something wrong?
Yes.
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 So
apologize.
Apologize. What we're telling you, our opinion, is just advice.
And just remember, you can't apologize for somebody else, because you have to apologize for what you know you did wrong.
Yeah.
For what you did wrong. If we were arguing, he has to apologize for his part. I have to apologize for my part. Can he make me apologize? No.
And I want to apologize right now for my Cookie Monster shirt.
That's okay.
Do I look cute?
I like that shirt. Maybe I should get one.
My daughter's bought me this shirt, my Cookie Monster shirt. Okay.
Well, I bought myself this shirt.
So, YouTube, thank you guys so much. Subscribe, comment, tell everybody about us. Leave us some comments. And if you don't like what we had to say, and if what we said offended you,
we apologize.
We're sorry. We apologize. You'll be all right. Don't worry about it. Bye.